Welcome back again to another day of the brand build challenge. So far we've been able to cover a lot of essential areas for the completion of this project. In day 7 we focused on a very important area, which is the logo refinement and colors and typography. And yeah, I've made a few adjustments since then, especially for the typography, right? For the typography, I've been able to really look back and say, you know what, maybe my plea was for nothing. Remember this? We will pair it with another font, either Montserrat or Poppins. I'm sorry guys, I couldn't just help it, I had to. But no, I decided to change the typography and we are using a font called BW Gradual, well, the demo version. I think it's a font that really represents what the Zap brand is all about and is the font we'll be using going forward. So BW Gradual and Sign are now the two fonts for use. And in day 8 we'll be covering the iconography, design elements and graphics. And it's going to be a 2-part series for day 8. So this is part 1 and we're going to be covering essential details. I've gotten a few questions in my community and I'm going to try and answer them. So stick around as we cover this important part of the project. So the goal for day 8 is basically to start visualizing and fleshing out our brand, right? It's sort of like we are going to be doing what they call brand application, right? Or brand visualization. So everything we've done from day 1 to 7, or more precisely day 6, are all what we call the brand identity, right? They are the unseen elements of the brand. And from day 7 to day 14 is going to be the seen elements of the brand, which is called the visual identity. And day 8 is crucial because we're going to be covering things like iconography, patterns, graphics, illustrations, photography and the rest, right? It's important to note that all these elements are what make up a visual identity. Apart from the mockups and the rest, which we'll be covering much later, these are crucial because they are formed from the brand identity phase, right? So we'll be covering this in day 8. So what you want to be doing in this phase is highlight key essential elements of your brand visually. So everything else about your brand right now is going to be visual, and that's what we're going to be doing. So to handle iconography, all you need to do is understand that iconography is basically the art of building elements that function for your brand without having to use words, right? And in building your icons, you have to consider a few things: how the icon is going to appear and how the icon relates to your brand. Icons are not just drawn because we feel like drawing icons. Icons have meaning and purpose, right? And they are also drawn by following this particular guide. This grid is essential if you're looking to create visually balanced icons, right? The grid basically guides the structure of your icon. There are multiple different shapes embedded within this grid. There are the taller rectangles, the wider rectangles, the squares and the circle. Okay, if you want to build a square-like icon, you use the square inside. If you want to build a taller icon, you use the square that is much taller than the rest. If you want to build a wider icon, use the one that is wider than the rest. And if you want to also build a circular icon, use the circular element in the grid, or the circle in the grid. Now, using it is pretty tricky because I also had to learn this on the go, right? You have to sort of make research into icons. You cannot just build icon off of your head, but also in making your research, you have to relate the icon some way, somehow to your brand. And one of the sites I used to make research is Pinterest, right? And Pinterest has a lot of resources for icons. You can just search icon and whatever keyword, fashion icons, delivery icons, whatever keyword that relates to your brand, you can use it to search for keywords. It's pertinent to understand that as we build icons here, it's going to take a while for you to get used to the process. But remember, icons have to make sense and have to make some meaning to your brand. Well, not have to, but they should, right? And the reason is you're trying to create something that is unique to your brand, right? And that should be your focus and your goal. Designers and creatives, brand designers and product designers. Hey, are you tired of creating bland mockups and bland presentations? Say hello to Pacdora. Pacdora is a one-stop shop for all things mockup. It's a game changer in the mockup game, and you get to see mockups differently and come to life in a very different and unique way. Pacdora can take your designs from looking meh to mind-blowing with just utilizing the features on Pacdora. With Pacdora, creating high-quality, high-end photorealistic mockups just got easy. You don't need external softwares for this. You can do everything on the site. Whether you're designing for packaging, product design, apparel design, or branding, Pacdora has everything you need to bring all your designs to life. With hundreds of customizable mockups in different formats, preview everything, see how your designs come out before downloading. That's what Pacdora offers you. Join thousands of designers who are elevating their work through the use of Pacdora. It's fast, it's easy, and it's next level. Use the discount code DEXIOUS to get 20% off on your registration. You see, it's important to note that everything you're doing in this phase, especially on day 8, has to appeal to your audience. From the expressions of the icon, to the expression of the patterns, to the expression of other elements like stickers, banners, and the likes, to backgrounds and images. Everything has to be audience specific. In doing so, as your brand begins to come to life or show itself, or when we even see it, we get the feeling that it's just trying to give off. However, if there are certain elements that are just all over the place, there is no specific reason why something is done, you're going to lose the feeling. We are going to feel like we have been taken on a journey that has no destination, right? So it's important that you put the user in mind, you put the audience in mind in developing all this. Important to note that icons have to be unique to your brand. And when I mean have to, it has to have certain elements that you can infuse from your brand. That's why they are called your icons, and that's why you are building them from scratch. So while you're building the icons, you have to also remember that the icons should be used across multiple different platforms. You can build icons that are going to be used for an app if your brand is going to have an app, and icons that are going to be used on social media or websites. You can draw inspiration from keywords in your brand to help you create icons, or you can also ask ChatGPT for icon list specific to your brand. And also you can also search YouTube for other videos to help see you through the icon building phase. The next thing you want to do is consider building or creating patterns and elements for your brand from your either your logo or your keywords or something that is going to be unique to your brand. So for example, say your logo is shaped like mine, right? You can see some of the elements I'm coming up with. They are elements that really tie itself to the brand essence and creates that uniform feel. However, if you're going another route, maybe abstract or 3D, make sure things are consistent visually, because you're trying to build a visual identity. And if it is too scattered, you're going to experience what we call creating a problem that needs to be solved. You don't want to do that. In creating other graphic elements, you can create elements that will be used on their own, that will be used along with backgrounds or on the website. For this phase, you can also build a mood board that is unique to the way you want your brand to feel. You see, the thing I need you guys to understand is that there is nothing new under the sun. Every creative process borrows from another person's creativity. You cannot just say you want to sit down and begin to develop elements from the blue, right? It doesn't work like that. So do some research, visit sites like Behance, Dreamable, and Pinterest to gather resources to help build patterns and unique shapes, right? So you are going to be stealing like an artist, right? And you're going to be picking off ideas or piggybanking off of ideas from other people. The goal here is not to do what other people have done, but to do something that meets the standard or the quality for a portfolio project. At the end of the day, you may not necessarily use any of them, but you have fed your imagination, and from feeding your imagination you can begin to develop certain things that align with your brand, right? And you can also at this point begin to dictate your photography style and your illustration style if you're going to be using any of those elements in your branding. The photography style is energetic, lively, and it has to give off the feeling of what your brand is all about. And also, we'll be using an illustration style that is simple, straightforward, but unique to the Zap brand, and that is going to be used across all our communication platforms. The photography style for Zap is one that really lines up with our tone of voice, and our tone of voice is meant to be very, very professional, but also maintaining a little bit of Zap. You understand what I mean, right? But here is the thing. So imagine something like this is something I came up with: Zip Zap delivered, right? And it's quick, it's sharp, it's witty, and it also helps pass the brand message as quickly as possible, right? And that's our tone of voice. Our tone of voice is direct but also fun, right? There's another one that came to my mind, right? Stop the cap, Zap too fast. Now that is pidgin English, but it appeals to the entire audience that we are trying to reach, and it sends the right message. It sends to them that we are fast, and the photography style has to align with the jovial, the happy nature of somebody who is satisfied. You see, everything you came up with in your brand tone of voice and brand personality and brand positioning statement have to now all be communicated visually in this phase. So in your photography, your illustration, and your patterns, everything has to sort of exude that feeling that you have done all this brand strategy phase for, right? Another one I thought of is WhatsApp, right? Not WhatsApp, WhatsApp, right? It's when you're coming on the app and you open, the first thing you see is WhatsApp. Now, what do you think? So it's not like we're too playful, but we are appealing to the audience, especially a very distinct set. And many people may not pay attention to that, but it aligns with what our brand is supposed to be. It aligns with our name, it aligns with our fun character and energetic character. Imagine somebody is coming to meet you and they're like, hi, nah, we need energy. What's up, right? What's up? So WhatsApp. Also, you can tie it to come and use the Zap app from the Yoruba language, WhatsApp, right? So it's like we're inviting people to come and experience what the Zap app is all about. Are you getting what I'm trying to sell, right? And it really embodies what we are about as the Zap brand. Download the Zap. Do you understand that? Download the Zap. You are not going to call it an app. We're going to call it the Zap. And instead of saying download the Zap app, which is like tautology, you're downloading the Zap. How beautiful is that? So a lot of thought and a lot of strategy has gone into some of these elements that you are hearing me talk about and you are seeing on your screen. So it's going to be developed further, and we're going to share, and we have built something beautiful. Well, we are still building something beautiful. So if you are interested in joining us, it may not be too late, because you can cover a lot of ground in a short period of time if you are really determined about it. So that's a little bit about everything I'm going to be running through for day 8. I hope it gives you some guide on how to achieve the goal for day 8. If you are still finding certain things difficult, you can drop your questions in the chat or in the comment section and I will answer. Follow us as we build something amazing, right? Hey, until the next one, we'll be covering day 9, which is basically presentation and the brand guidelines, and we're closer to the end than ever before. Until the next one, keep creating, stay creative. Cheers.